So I just recorded a video about marriages and how the first example of a relationship that we ever see in our lives is that between our mothers and our fathers, and how that could either be a good representation going on in life, or it could be a pretty horrible one. And in a lot of American households, it's pretty negative, if we're being honest, because of the fact that 50% of those marriages end up in divorces lasting on average 8 years at a time. And I mean, if you think about it, 8 years, how long have you been alive? The person that's watching this video, you watching this video, I'm talking to you. How long have you been alive? Probably longer than 8 years, probably maybe 15, maybe 20, maybe 25. Right. So if your parents' marriage lasted on average 8 years, that's less than half of the time that you've been alive. So for most of your life, you don't even know what it's like for your own parents to be married. If we're talking about generally speaking, the average person, you watching this right now, don't even know what it's like for your parents to be married for your entire life. So what exactly is that feeding into your mind? What exactly is that telling your subconscious? What what notion do you have about a marriage, about a relationship, a fully committed relationship such as marriage? That it doesn't exist. It can't be successful. That you yourself can't have it. Who do you look up to the most? Obviously, it's your parents. Well, in most cases, sometimes not, but a lot of times, who do you call upon? Whenever you fill out a job application, whenever you filling out any application and then it asks for emergency person to call. I forget exactly what it's called. You write down your mom's name. Don't lie to me. I know you do. You look up to your parents and you rely on them the most. Out of pretty much anybody, if you call anybody in your phone, who's the most likely to pick up? 9 times out of 10, it's going to be your mom, and then your dad, probably. So, anyways, you're looking at their example for a marriage, and it's pretty shit. 8 years at best. Is that the best that we can do? Probably not. So now you in your life, now you take that, you go to high school, you go to middle school, you go to high school, and now you're in relationships and stuff like that because it's encouraged, in American households to be boyfriend, girlfriend. And now you're in these 2 year relationships, 1 year relationships, 6 month relationships, 5 year relationships, and you can never fully commit. Okay. Now that's all it goes back to the representation and the example of a marriage and of a relationship from your parents. And now hold the fuck on. Relax, relax. Don't blame. This is not me telling you to blame your inability to stay fully committed to someone, or your inability to see yourself or visualize yourself in a long-term committed marital relationship on your parents. What I am saying is that's where it does stem from. And remember this. Remember this. Your parents are human. They're flawed. It's their first time living as well. And just as you see them do, your kids will see you do some of the same things, a lot of the same things that your parents, that the same things that you complained about them doing, your kids will see you do the exact same thing. Now, back to the marriage and the boyfriend and girlfriend, the inability to, maintain long-term relationships and the negativity from all of it. That's the reason why so many of these marriages even fail to begin with is because of people's ungratefulness. And I don't know if you probably definitely have heard about this quote. Okay, hard times create strong men create good times, and good times create weak men, and weak men create the hard times again. And a lot of what we're seeing is our parents, I guess, are technically the strong men, strong people, right? And they created the good times. Or you can argue that they weren't, whatever. And either way, when people have the world at their fingertips, as we do now in my generation, it becomes a lot harder to be fully committed to anything. When I can get Uber Eats, I can get DoorDash, I can watch Netflix, I can scroll on my phone, I can get any sense of dopamine, any sense of satisfaction at the tips of my fingers. then why would I fully commit to pretty much anything? If you know what I mean? And also, not only this, but think about it this way: women, a fat woman has more options than a man with a six pack and muscles and all this type of stuff, right? Nowadays, because of the accessibility of everyone nowadays on social media. And it's not necessarily that this fat woman is more attractive than this guy or whatever who might be good looking and has a six pack. It's just the fact that we are in an attention economy. And so I'm not saying you're cooked. I'm not saying you're doomed by saying all of this, by the way. This is just saying the reality of what it is. And that's the only way to really combat any of this and to have successful marriages and to get rid of this whole temporary stuff, blah blah blah, non-commitment, is to go back to the old ways. Now, as a Muslim, it's encouraged to be married. It's encouraged to not have sex before marriage. It's haram. It's sin, a major sin. In Christianity, I believe in, of course, in Judaism, like, and a lot of major religions, it's the exact same thing. The only way to really combat this and to actually have a successful marriage and to get rid of that average of 8 years marriage just in America and in everywhere else in Western society and in the world in general is to come back to religion. Really, that's what this message really boils down to. Islam is the answer. And why Islam? Because think about it this way: America is supposed to be a Christian country. And, well, that's what a lot of people say. Culturally, it's mostly Christians, XYZ, XYZ. But it's really secular. And look at what's promoted today and look at what most people are doing today. In Islam, it's pretty much expected to be, you're supposed to practice the most practiced religion in the world. Yes, look it up, do your research, and just look around you. Look around you. It's the fastest growing religion in the world, and it's obviously the most practiced. This is simply the answer. Simply the answer. And it's the answer to your parents, you know what I'm saying? It's a solution rather to you not repeating their mistakes of being married for less than half of how long your child has been alive upon this earth. Remember, you're watching this. You could be 21, could be 18, whatever, could be 30. I don't know. But all I know is that your parents have probably not been married for longer than you've been alive. And just ask yourself why that is. And and think about what I just said. You know, religion. When they were back in the days 100 years ago, for instance, their marriages lasted longer. They were more religious. They simply were. You know, and it's lacking nowadays. So yeah, let's fix it.